Would you be surprised if I revealed some of the oh so common hair care tips that might be causing actual harm to your beautiful tresses instead of making them shine? Oh, the scandal. Say goodbye to confusion and hello to happier and healthier hair. In this video, we're going to be debunking some of the most common natural hair myths and also bring some truth to light. Myth number 1, Black people hair doesn't grow fast. I personally have believed this most of my life, and that is because without understanding texture, it can have the appearance that our hair grows a lot slower. But if you think about it, everyone's hair, white, black, Latino, Asian, European, doesn't matter, Australian, everyone's hair on average grows about ½ an inch per month. That's across the board. Race doesn't have any play into that average. However, a person of Asian descent who grows ½ an inch of hair per month is going to show that a lot easier because guess what? Their hair is straight, or generally their hair is straight. But with someone like me with super coily hair, that ½ an inch is actually going to be looped, so it looks shorter. Our hair grows. There's nothing special about Black people. I mean, yes, our hair texture is pretty special, but for the most part, when it comes to our bodies naturally regulating healthy functions and things like that, we're all the same. No race has anything to do with it. Myth number 2, washing your hair often will cause hair loss. Well, this simply isn't true because really all you'll notice is just more hair in the drain, but that's not hair loss. Hair sheds about 100, on average, 100 strands a day. So if you're washing your hair every day or every 2 days, then all you're really seeing basically is the shed hairs coming out of your scalp. Now, I will say though that when it comes to washing your hair often as someone with fine, natural coily hair, it does increase the amounts of times you are manipulating your strands. And of course, when there's high manipulation going on, that can increase your chances of breakage. And so it's not recommended for most Black people or those with textured hair to wash their hair every day or often. Usually once a week is kind of the sweet spot. Some will go longer. I myself am attempting to go longer for this protective style challenge, but on my wash and go regimen, I washed my hair every 3 to 4 days, and my hair literally started growing so much during my wash and go quarter, which was, you know, obviously the first quarter of the year. So totally a myth. Wash your hair if you want to, but you definitely don't have to be afraid of hair loss from washing too often. Myth number 3, which I believe most of us kind of know this already, but trimming doesn't make your hair grow faster, because if hair grows from the scalp, cutting the ends, it's not like it sends like a nerve signal to the scalp saying grow faster. But this is the one that got me in the most trouble last year. I was trimming my hair, I would say every 3 months, and then there were some times where they overlapped, where it was almost once a month, and it'd be like little tiny snips. But overall, when I looked at my growth for the year 2022, I got nowhere. Cutting back on trimming has already showed a lot of improvement for me in terms of length retention. However, what trimming is so beneficial for is preventing breakage, because when you have single strand knots or split ends, those are the things that causes breakage. So when you trim or go in for your quarterly trim or trim at the end of the year to cut off those ends, it actually keeps your hair from breaking. I know this because when I was in college, I remember one while I could not get my fingers through the ends, and I'm like, what is wrong? I mean, I'm thinking it's just because my hair is kinky and highly textured, but really when I chopped those ends off, you're talking about gliding through with no problem. So that's super duper important, but trimming definitely does not send signals to your scalp to start creating more hair. Myth number 4, sulfates in shampoos weakens the hair follicle. So there's this misconception that sulfates over a long period of time starts to strip off the hair layers and creates a weaker strand and causes thinning. Well, according to science, That's not the case. Sulfates primarily serve to create a lathering effect to help remove oil, dirt, buildup, and things like that on your hair follicles and your strands. It's super important that we have shampoos that has sulfate. I know co-washing does not work for me. I tried, and it doesn't work. I did notice, even as someone that was on a wash and go regimen where I was putting a sulfate shampoo in my hair every 4 days, the moisture retention level of my hair was so far beyond what I've ever experienced in the 13 years I've been natural. And that is because when you have a clean slate, you allow moisture and water to easily enter your hair strands. And so sulfates are not bad. I mean, if you're washing your hair every day, probably not a good thing because they are drying. But if you follow up with a moisturizing shampoo, or maybe every other day use a sulfate if you're someone that washes your hair often, just keep it very balanced, but definitely make sure you have a sulfate shampoo in your stash somewhere, and you don't have to use it all the time. Myth number 5, for natural hair, labels. I used to believe that a product that was labeled for natural hairs or for textured hair, which we're going to get to that, and so on, I thought those were the most suitable products for me. But what I ended up learning, and I think a lot of us have, is that it's really about ingredients. So let's have a brief little description about natural and organic. I mean, does anybody else ever think about natural versus organic? Because sometimes they sound the same to me, but then as I did more research, I was like, wait a minute. Natural ingredients are derived from nature, but there are no strict regulations on their use in products. On the other hand, organic ingredients are not only derived from nature, but also adhere to specific government-backed regulations, ensuring that they are grown and processed without the use of toxic chemicals, antibiotics, and synthetic growth hormones. The term organic is regulated by the United States Department of Agriculture, while the term natural is not monitored by the FDA. Myth number 6, natural hair, textured hair, or ethnic hair. Products are for everyone. There are some shampoos, conditioners, and products made for straight hair that works beautifully on my hair. So like, that is all marketing and it's all a scam. This is how companies and brands are able to continue capitalizing on women, especially Black women, because of these labels. We are so married to labels that just because a brand says this is for ethnic or textured or natural hair or 4C and all these things, we usually are the ones that are the suckers of the consumer market. Girls, there's no such thing as a product for textured hair or ethnic hair. All hair products is for everyone, and you just find what works for you. The love of money is the root of all evil. And just remember, you can't serve God and mammon. So if people aren't serving God, they're serving their material possessions and their wealth and their money. So you want to make sure that you have your discernment antennas on, and you're mindful that anytime there's a release, a new campaign, an XYZ, whatever they have out there, remember, they're trying to make money. So that will affect their branding, their language, their messaging, and who they choose as brand ambassadors. So just be very careful about that, okay? Number 7, silicones. Silicones are bad and should be avoided at all costs. Silicones can provide such beautiful benefits like locking in moisture, preventing frizz, and giving hair a soft, silky feel. When I was growing up, we weren't thinking about ingredients, so silicones were almost in basically every product. But I remembered I used to get my hair hot combed, you know, like from the stove to the hair, well, after the paper towel to the hair, all the time. And I never ever suffered heat damage. Even in college, when I used to straighten my hair on average every week because I liked it to be flowy and not heavy and weighed down, I never suffered heat damage. Why? Because I had a conditioner that was full of silicones. They create a coating on the hair to prevent it from getting heat damaged, and also a heat protectant, and that combination kept me from incurring any heat damage from my heating tools. And silicones also help us when it comes to slip and detangling. I mean, I know there are some natural things out there now, right? You know, that don't have silicones, but flaxseed gel or the botanical gels that have a nice slip, marshmallow root and all that. At the end of the day, if you don't have the coins for those expensive products, silicones are your best friends. And last but not least, because of the big wave of bond builders, protein treatments, and so on. Myth number 8. Heat damaged can be repaired. In reality, when hair is damaged by heat, it's permanently damaged because high and excessive heat can break the disulfide bonds within the hair strand. And these are the types of bonds that give the hair its strength along with other protein cross-links. Heat damage can be prevented or treated, but it cannot be repaired. While it is true that excessive heat can cause damage, using the right heat protectant as well as the proper heat settings can help protect natural hair from heat damage. Okay, and please, if you have any myths that you heard of, chime in the comments below. I look forward to engaging with you all as always. Have a wonderful rest of your day. God bless you and see you in the next video. Bye.